Who is in a better than usual quarterback matchup? Who's rising in your rankings?
Your pal, Caleb Williams,
Holla.
who is in my top 10 against the Commanders in what could be a high-scoring game. Got Tua at 7. I don't know if he's coming back, but he's supposed to be practicing this week. I will start him. He's been out a while. The Cardinals defense is not great. So I got Bo Nix right now as my QB9. When I say get weird, like I am going to get weird. And Bo Nix being ranked ahead of Patrick Mahomes is really weird. Among the fallers, and this one hurts, is Baker. I've still got Baker in my top 15. CJ Stroud, big dropper this week at 18. Now keep your eyes on the rankings because they change daily. And Anthony Richardson, I've got at 20. Now the one thing about Richardson is that his best game of the year came in week 1 against the Texans. I'm hoping I'm wrong there, but Lindsay, he's had one good game. Every other game has been bad.
Running backs now.
James Conner, who we didn't like last week, he had a good game. And now he's got the Dolphins, who are not good against the run. Kareem Hunt has got the Raiders this week. Dare I say he's a virtual must start, even with no teams on a bye. Kareem Hunt's been good, and the volume has been wicked. And then Javonte Williams, who has been Jekyll and Hyde. But last week, he was tremendous against the Saints. He's had 16 plus in 2 of his last 3 games. And he's got the Panthers. We like to pick on the Panthers in fantasy football and on this program. The fallers, Lindsay, Tony Pollard coming off a bad game, but he got game scripted out. My fear is that it happens again because they got the Lions this week, and the Lions offense is nasty. They're also pretty good against running backs. So Pollard is probably more of a flex starter, and I don't really love it, to be quite honest with you. I think he has a bad game. Ramondre Stevenson, one of the headaches that I traded away because last week, JaMychal Hasty was getting burned. I know Antonio Gibson's banged up. They've also got the Jets this week. I know the Jets got to win, and I also think the Patriots could get game script out of this one in terms of running the football. And Devin Singletary's moved down. You know, at one point, like in the preseason, we were all saying Devin Singletary could be one of the best draft bargains in fantasy football. He's going to the Giants, and he knows the offense at Dayball. Little did we know Tyrone Tracy would come in, and Lindsay had talked about this earlier in the week. Tracy got more touches. Tracy got more snaps. Tracy's the guy. Singletary is now not really a startable asset.
All right, let's get to the wide receivers.
George Pickens, who surprised us all and really had a great game against the Jets last week in Sauce. He sauced Gardner last week. He's got the Giants this week, not good against perimeter receivers. Juwan Jennings, I don't know if he's playing this week yet. Jennings, if he does come back and there's no Debo, we already know there's no Ayuk, and we know Kittle's banged up. He could be a wide receiver too. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba. I currently have DK Metcalf in my rankings, but I don't think he's going to play. If you ask me, when you call your dude week to week, chances are he's not going to play this week. So Smith and Jigba's moved up. And the fallers, Terry McLaurin. Go and look at how number 1 wide receivers have done against Chicago this year. And no Jaden. So Terry McLaurin is a risky play this week. Deontay Johnson, who we all loved last week, but now he's got a bad matchup against Denver. Now, I don't know if Surtain's playing, but it doesn't matter. Denver's defense is really good. And then Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs. Until these wide receivers show some signs of life with AR under center, I can't trust them.
Tight ends. Let's talk about them.
Oh, I mean, David Njoku's shooting up rankings like crazy after all the targets he had last week. And I think that's going to be the norm for him now. And again, it's a good thing that Jameis is the quarterback. It's a good thing. Mark Andrews, he's back. After how many weeks where we're like, what happened to Mark Andrews? Had 3 good weeks in a row, and he had 2 touchdowns. He's back in our good graces, and you play him. And then Cade Otton, who should see an uptick in targets. And last week he had a boatload. He had 100 yards, over 100 yards on Monday night. No Evans, no Godwin, going up against Atlanta. Otton's going to be like a low tight end 1 type.
All right, dirtbags. We love fantasy football here. We love it in all of its many forms. I'm sure you guys already know about Prize Picks. If you don't, though, listen up. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings just roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks, Fabs.
And how about this? Joe Mixon, who's been amazing this season. I'm going to go more than 74.5 rushing yards against the Colts this week. And I've actually got more Prize Picks. How about Tutu Atwell, who is also a member of the waiver wire this week? You can go out and pick him up for a Thursday night game against the Vikings. 37.5 receiving yards. I will go more for Tutu Atwell.
More. I will be at that game. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code FANTASYDIRT and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That is code FANTASYDIRT on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. It's free money. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks, Run your game. Tight end fallers.
Pat Fryermuth, who's had a couple of stinkers in a row. The Giants do not give it up to tight ends. At least they have not this year. Isaiah Likely, why? Because of the rise, the resurrection of Mark Andrews. And then Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz has had really good matchups, and he's got a really good one this week. It does not matter. He can't exploit it. Even though they haven't had Nico, the entire offense in the past, not Joe Mixon. He's been nails. And Schultz is just, at this point, Dalton Schultz not even rosterable.